Endless scrolling on TikTok could soon be a thing of the past. The social media platform announcing today that every user under 18 will eventually have their accounts default to a 1-hour daily screen time limit. My kids burned through that before breakfast. Yahoo Finance tech editor Dan Howley is here. Dan, and I am very skeptical of this actually having any impact. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so the big deal here, Dave, is that rather than having to opt into a kind of time limit for how often you can use TikTok throughout the day, it's something that's already set up. So it's adding friction where a user would have to enter a passcode and then continue scrolling. Now, TikTok is addictive. I had to delete it from my phone because I would just be scrolling through it nonstop. And, you know, the idea that you're adding this limit means that, yes, it will give people a semblance of control, though, you know, an hour of scrolling is still an hour that you could have been doing something else. It is, you know, better than 4 hours of scrolling, I guess. I think the question here is, you know, how many people will actually, or how many young people will actually continue and stick with that 1 hour time limit versus just tapping in whatever the passcode is and then continuing merrily along. So, you know, I do question whether it is going to be super effective, but this is a way for TikTok to try to placate parents and give itself a better look, considering all the pressure that it's coming from the Congress.
Yeah, Dan, I wanted to ask you that. How much of this do you think is really just a PR stunt from TikTok trying to get ahead of some of that criticism that's out there? And how does this compare to some of the limitations or some of the controls that have been placed from some of the social media giants here in the U.S. when it comes to Facebook and Instagram?
Yeah, I do think it's a positive. It's not necessarily, you know, a huge change, though, right? Sure, it's big that it's for people under 18. That's their main demographic. That's the group of people that are most associated with TikTok. But at the same time, if you can just press a button, a few buttons to get your passcode in, or even disable this entirely, well, then it kind of defeats the purpose. I do, you know, obviously think that it is in line with what we've seen from other social media platforms. Instagram in particular, you know, Meta was criticized because Instagram, there was that huge blow up where we had the whistleblower come out and say that the company knew that it had a negative impact on young kids, especially young girls' body image and mental health. They added some features to limit the ability for you to use Instagram. If you were under 16, it would default you to the strictest setting. So, you know, we've seen social media companies do this before, but, you know, at the same time, this isn't going to be the cure-all for their problems in Congress. And they're clearly aware of that. Just because they're limiting how often teens can scroll through it on a daily basis doesn't mean that, you know, there's going to be some kind of big love fest between TikTok and Congress going forward.
Yeah, I think that is safe to say. Dan Howley, thanks so much.